All right, let's continue talking about thinking strategically about experiences from chapter 11 in the Experiential Marketing book by Bernd Schmidt. Here we want to talk about building the experiential marketing organization, not just an individual experience, but the organization necessary to be able to produce those experiences. The question is, can you develop an understanding of the core experience and manage it over time? That becomes the key. Well, there are two sorts of approaches to managing businesses and managing experience. One is an Apollonian, which is thoughtful, reflective, more analytical, versus the Dionysian version, which is more passionate, emotional, experiential. Now, Schmidt sort of takes a Dionysian approach to all of this. I believe you need to take a little bit of both. Some of the best experiential marketers are not particularly analytical, but really get the notion of creating the right emotional, engaging, internalized experience. So Apollonians, thinking, self-controlled, rational, ordered, principled, value of human order and culture, while Dionysians are more feeling and passionate oriented, maybe even a little irrational and chaotic, with a state of intoxication or wholeness of existence. And so if you think of Disney and Disneyland, Walt was both Apollonian in that he could figure things out logically and orderly, but he also understood that Disneyland was supposed to be the magic kingdom and the happiest place on earth. And so some of that had to do with feeling and passion and emotions. So after we take this notion that we have to be a mix of Apollonian and Dionysian, the second step is to taking a more of a helicopter view. This goes back to understanding the core experience and being able to step back and take a general view of what the experience is supposed to look like. Yes, we want to pay attention to details like Steve Wynn did, but at the same time, we also don't want to lose sight of what the overall experience was supposed to be. And we tend to see that happening in some organizations. Once you understand the overall experience, then you can figure out how each element enhances or detracts from that experience. For example, you remember that I talked about NHR sells speed, but they recently followed NASCAR's lead and reduced the horsepower in their fastest cars, and made their cars end up going a little bit slower. While this works for NASCAR because they sell racing, this did not work for the NHRA because they sell speed and going faster. So before you do things that detract or limit the experience, think. Think about what you're trying to do to me. Third, the focus organization with an understanding and commitment to experiential project. Now, you need to go back to the right kinds of organizations, and Pine and Gilmore talked a little bit about this. But this is more than just saying, oh, we're going to hire a CXO, a Chief Experiential Officer. The CEO has to be the CXO. Steve Wynn, when he was running Wynn Resorts, he was the CEO and the CXO. He always understood what the experience was supposed to be and what they were trying to achieve. And in reality, every individual in the organization needs to understand and be committed to the organization's goals of producing a particular engaging experience. The mission statement, the reward structure, et cetera, needs to be focused on the experience. Everybody in the organization needs to be pointed in that same direction. And then finally, the organization has to use creativity and innovation to enhance the experience over time. You cannot continually do the same old thing or you create wear out. You have to always creatively be looking for ways to enhance the experience and make it even better. In summary, you can do this. You can become a CXO.